Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are in a rocket with Deepak because he was telling such a way, telling big things. So I'll be here to talking about small things in Bangladesh, what happened. I'll be mainly talking about this renewable energy technology solution that we have given to the rural people in Bangladesh. So this is sort of success in Bangladesh, then I'll take you these small things here. So before I go into this my presentation, I will just give you some overview what is the power situation in Bangladesh. As you know, Bangladesh is a small country, 54,000 square miles, and about 160 million people. So it is a huge, almost one of the most densely populated country in the world. More than 100,000 people in 1 square mile probably. So it's very huge and small country, limited resources, really we have a trouble, and a poor country, and as well as the climate is most devastating in affected countries and also Bangladesh. So all things is there, but good things also is there. Anyway, so next slide please. The power situation in Bangladesh, you see the scenario. Only 40% of the population is being connected to the grid line. So the rest 60% they don't have any access to the national grid line. It means more than 96 million people has been out of this grid line. So Bangladesh is really starving of the power. So this, who are this 60% population is out of grid? Of course, they are living in the village, they are not in the city. So this is the situation in Bangladesh. And the 90% of our power generated from the natural gas. And this gas is used to, people say that it will be finished by 2016 if there is no new explosion of a new well. So we have very short time to finish this. So there is the demand is there huge, people need this power, but the government is not able to cope up with this. So in 1996, next slide please. Next slide. In 1996, Professor Muhammad Yunus, who is the founder of Grameen Bank, as well as the founder of Grameen Shakti. So Grameen Bank is a bank, Grameen Shakti is a separate company. So Professor Yunus is the chair in the Grameen Shakti, but he is the managing director of Grameen Bank. So it is completely a separate company. So it is nothing with the Grameen Bank. Only person is the board and the board only. So he created this Grameen Shakti in 1996 because he wants to see this. There is very less chance for the 60% population in the rural area in future will have any access to power. So this Grameen Shakti has been initiated due to the empower the rural people with access to the clean, renewable energy. So that is the main reason. So we have started at the very beginning with the solar in 1996. And later on we have other two renewable energy have been installed, that is biogas plant as well as improved cooking stove. So since 1996 so far we have operated all over the Bangladesh. So we have total of 1,100 branches that cover all the districts of Bangladesh, and staff, field staff, and all together is 8,500 field staffs on the Grameen Shakti. So next slide, please. So this is the total. You see this is Bangladesh. They were near the Bay of Bengal, and then all the sites in India. Only one side is Myanmar. So we are in the tropical zone. So we have very good fortunate that we are in a good position of having sunshine all the year, and it's good intensity also as well. So we have covered all of the Bangladesh. So we have three administrative layers. The first layer is branch offices that has been directly deal with our clients, rural clients. Then on top of this, there is regional offices, around 127 regional offices that administrate the branch and support the branch and supervise the transactions. And on top of this is a divisional offices. There is 13 divisional offices. That's Bangladesh, whole of the Bangladesh has been divided into 13 divisions. That is also the supervisory and the supporting office, and that has been controlled from the head office. So this is the three-tier administrative structure of Gramin Shakti. So as I have said, we have so far 3 products for the rural people: solar home system, biogas, and improved cooking stove. The solar home system that we have designed, it is standalone, and it is only for the one household can use it. And the biogas, of course, the people, those who have farmed the 2 or 3 or 4 cows, they can make a biogas plant. And the improved cooking stove, we have that because in Bangladesh, it had been using this traditional cook stoves that only give 85% of the heat going out, only 15% heat has been absorbed by the pot. So 85% of the energy has been wasted. And not only this, the huge smoke and the heat also affected our mother and the child they carry. So that is very dangerous hazard to the health. So that in Gramin Shakti, we have innovated one sort of improved cooking stove that will help our rural people. So far, solar home systems as of today, until today, we have installed around 480,000 solar home systems all over the Bangladesh. This 54 is the September, I think October figures. You can go around 480,000 solar home systems we have installed all over the Bangladesh. And we have currently 20,000 more solar home systems we have been installing every month. So the huge demand is coming from the people. And biogas we have so far around 14,000, and the improved cook stove goes up to, until today, I say you, 180,000 improved cooking stove. And the bioslurry also, it's a byproduct of the biogas, is using the bioslurry. That also people can use in the agriculture form. Next slide, please. So as we know, this renewable energy technology is usually say that it is very expensive. Of course, it's expensive, and the upfront cost is high. So the Gramin Shakti, we have designed a financial mechanism that can help the rural peoples to afford it. This is the main thing. So when we started in 1996, whole year we were able to sell only 246 solar home systems, and in 2005 the whole year only 15,000 solar home systems. Now, as I said, we have been installing 20,000 per month. So how it's coming up that way? Because it fit with the people's in the demand, and it fit with the people's financial system. They can afford it. So we have designed such a financial way that it can help the people. So we have offered cheap way to our rural clients. They can afford it. Now, option 1. Before I go into this option, I'm saying this: we have been offering 11 packages of solar home system. That is 10 watt peak to 135 watt peak. So there are different kinds of power and on solar home system packages. So that depends on the, if you are poor, if you only 2 lights, you can use the smaller one. If you are better off, you can afford it, it can be better more. So it depends on the family size and depend on the your requirement, power requirement, energy requirement. So option 1, whatever the price will be, you have to pay down payment 15% of the total cost, and then rest of the amount will be divided into 36 installment over 3 years. You could pay the 6% flat interest rate. So for example, you have $100 is this solar home package is $100. $15 you pay, and the rest of the $85 you have to pay over 3 years with monthly installment. So that is very comfortable and affordable to the rural people, and they like it, and that's why we have been increasing this, sale very fast. And second option, if you have good money, pay upfront, then you can pay 25% of the down payment, and rest of the money over 24 months and over 2 years you can pay off, and with the 4% interest rate. And option 3 is 100% cash payment. You will get the 4% rebate on the total price. And the last one is that is sort of minimum. Option 3 is gone. We have created another one recently. The very poor people, if they want to have it, we have another system. We don't have to pay any down payment that we call micro utility. This means you take it, maybe 3 or 4 lights you don't have to pay any down payment. We install in your house, you use 1 light, and the 2 or 3 lights you can rent out to neighboring shops or neighboring household. You can charge monthly bill to the neighbors, say 6 taka or 5 taka, whatever. Then you collect it every day. At the end of the month, you pay it to Gramin Shakti. So by this way, you will be the owner of this system at the end of the 3 years, and you don't have to pay at all. So even you are poor, if you want to have this, you can have it. So that is the way we do it. So they are the financial models. Next slide, please. Yeah. So as I said, that it is our the way we have been going on. The 228, then it is up to now end of September. It is 464,520 solar hour we have installed. Next slide, please. It is an yearly basis. Which year? So in 1990 only 228. You see in the 2005 only 18,630 for the whole year. Now every month we are installing more than 20,000. So this year we have already installed around 300,000, and we have the plan. Every year we make it double. So at the end of this year, our cumulative installment will be around 500,000. So next year we have the plan for another 500,000. So it will be reach around 1 million at the end of 2011. That is our plan. Okay. So how the people are using? The rural people with the solar light, they can increase their working time, they can increase their business time. So they are waving in the night. Usually the Bangladesh women, they use for kerosene for using their light. So anyway, they have to pay this bill every month. Even they don't have electricity, they have to pay for the kerosene. We haven't done any impact study yet, but roughly we would say the amount they pay for the kerosene of the whole month, more or less they can pay off the monthly installment for that amount. We have done some sort of rough calculation that the 4 year, how much you pay for the kerosene, you will be the owner of this solar house system within 3 years with the same amount. So once you have paid off this package price, I mean this 3 years, then we give the ownership to you. The main attraction is that people want to have a ownership of the system. So that when they have the ownership of the system, they know how to use it. So the first 3 years, they have been paying installment. After that, they don't have to pay anything. The solar panel itself is warranted for 20 to 25 years warranted. Anything happens within this 20 to 25 years, we are here to replace it. The battery also for 5 years, and rest other components is for 3 years. So that is the thing. So they can use and increase the people using into their wedding. And next slide, please. Yes. Next slide. Yes. This is on guys in grocery shops. Even you see here the television also was there in that stall. So once they have this thing in the village, they can use for various purpose, income generation. So next slide, please. So they're using in the tailoring shop and the grocery shop. Children are studying. Next slide, please. And also they may have started the cottage industry. They can increase their working hour in the evening also. Next slide, please. And that is also there's women are working. They are we have created another is Gramin Technology Center. They have been all over the country. We have 46 technology center. This technology center is being developing the new women technician in the local area. The way we have been increasing the solar home system, we need after-sales service for this. And then this service, how do you do? At this moment, our branch office is doing this service, after-sales service. In the future, the Shakti still cannot do it. So we have created rural poor women. We give a sort of training, and they can do the technician works into their villages, nearby their villages. How many? So you have 100 solar home system. They can do the service for the 100 or 200 solar home system. The clients can pay off this to this girl. So in this way, the women can earn some money, poor women, beside her household work, as well as they can the clients have a good service very close to their houses. Next slide, please. Yes, these women also can do the assembling of solar accessories. They are not our employee, but beside their household work, they can assemble our solar accessories, and they can earn extra money on the wages. So next slide, please. These are also some government technology activities. Next slide, please. Go. Yes, this girl is in Nilofer. She has been working hard, and beside her household work, every month she can earn around 5,000 to 6,000 taka, is around 80 to 90 US dollar per month. She can earn beside her household work. So this is we have developed this entrepreneur. They are not our employee, but they are living in the village. They are assembling these solar accessories, and they can earn from that. She also do this, she is not also employee. She can install the solar home system, they can earn as well. Let's go, next slide please. Yes, there is also the school children orientation, using in the computer next slide please, and also this training for the poor women, school drop girls, and we have also that improved cooking stove that we are seeing, that is here. Next slide please. So far we have a lot of many international and national awards, even prestigious is awards also. We have the biogas, and next slide please. Improved cook stove. Yeah, this biogas is in Bangladesh nowadays. Lot of poultry farm. The villagers is very in difficulties with the poultry farm. So with these biogas plants, it's a win-win situation. They have the poultry farm, they have the biogas plant. So all the poultry litters go into this biogas plant. They create this. They have this gas production. So the owner can use the one burner, and the rest 3 or 4 burners they can line pipeline to the neighbors, those who are suffering. So now with supplying the gas to the neighbors, they can earn additional income from the biogas as well. Next slide please. This is the improved cooking stove. This is very famous in Bangladesh. Now it's very exploring very efficiently. Next slide please. Same. This is the construction of a improved cooking stove. Yeah, there's a good way. There's no smoking, no heat, so they're happy with this. So the last slide that we are still behind of the success of Gramin Shakti, we said that designing a program based on the end user's requirement. We have to design the program how the people's they really need it, they really value it. if your customer, if your products is not attractive to your customers, you don't get any benefit. It will not get by the people in the villages. And we have involved women customers and developing village-based women entrepreneurs that I told you. There's women technicians. There's also villagers are involved with this process. And then market-driven financial support for disseminating this product.
Thank you. I'm happy with the presenters before me because they have covered some of the points in much more eloquently than I would. And I'm reminded that each of us are working in similar but different environments, I think, and even using similar technologies, but in a different context or at a different time in the state of that particular economy. Cambodia, on one hand, had a tragic recent history and has endured both pain and poverty. On the other hand, if you are an optimist like I am, Cambodia is one of the most fortunate countries. It's a least developed country, but it's embedded in a hyper-economic region. It's surrounded by neighbors who have more capital, more technology, and they have access to the sea, and they have some preferential relationships with the international community. So they are very well positioned to move forward from their disadvantaged position. They also have 150,000 square kilometers and only 15 million people. So it's almost empty compared to Bangladesh. These are both advantages and disadvantages because you have small communities in which you don't have the scale that you have in other places. And you also have the disadvantage of having Thai products, Malaysian products, Vietnamese products, and now Chinese products, better quality and cheaper than you can produce yourself. So these are different sorts of challenges. So when we look at solutions within the rural areas of Cambodia, we have to take into account a different set of dynamics. The problems are very similar, and I think that Puni and Ashan have highlighted some of those issues at the level of the people in the villages. How to help them manage the transition that they will face, especially since they are not going to control the pace of the transition. In Cambodia, they're particularly pushed by external forces. They're like a cork on a sea, and they're going to be carried along whether they want to or not. And this is not a simple thing for village and rural people to comprehend and to understand. In our case, we are working now on renewable technology, but we didn't start from that point. We started being interested in a local rural enterprise with a concern for the rural-urban migration that creates Manila and Dhaka and Bangkok and the kinds of mega urban problems that we see in other countries, and looking at how could we ameliorate those problems to some extent by creating economic opportunity in the rural areas so everybody doesn't have to move to the city. In the course of doing that, we have worked with enterprises and on the different issues that they need to know, access to credit and marketing and management and so on. But we discovered after several years that unless you reduce the price of energy in the village, which in Cambodia is in excess of $1 per kilowatt hour, you're not going to get very much private sector investment, even if you do prepare people to operate enterprises. So this led us towards realizing we have to look at solutions not only to the enterprise issues, but to the energy issues at the same time. So that led us towards looking at renewable alternatives. Cambodia has no fossil fuels, no national grid, only 20% electricity connection to the population. So that while they are positioned amongst more advanced neighbors, they are still in a kind of pre-industrial state. And the cost of energy, basically diesel fuel, has been growing rather dramatically. We discovered technology that is not new, but has been around for a long time, biomass gasification, which, for those of you who might not know, is different from biogas. It's as a result of burning agricultural residues, rice husks, coconut husks, peanut shells, corn cobs, and creating what is called a producer gas. I'm not going to read each of the slides because I know they're printed in the book, and rather than read them out, I think I'll move through clearly and just indicate the kind of direction and purpose of our efforts. Next, please. So we have identified that in terms of expanding enterprises in Cambodia, we would have to solve the energy problem. As I mentioned, our energy costs are very high, and the electrification rate is still very low. Now, what we decided to do was look at alternative energy resources, and of course solar and water and wind and biogas are all possible choices. In our case, we have chosen biomass gasification because Cambodia has a lot of biomass already in terms of rice husks, rice being the primary agriculture activity, and the rice husks are used to some extent for local energy purposes, but to a large extent are a waste product that if you will come and take them away, the rice miller will be happy. What we found is that with biomass gasification, you can reduce your diesel consumption by about 75%. This is an enormous gain for the rice miller. It's not a matter of, therefore, having a windfall profit in the rice miller's pocket, because they are at such a competitive disadvantage to their neighbors. They need to make those savings to even be competitive with Thai and Vietnamese rice markets. And now that Cambodia has succeeded in increasing its production above its own needs, the Thai and the Vietnamese companies come in, buy the paddy, take it back to Thailand and Vietnam and process it, leaving Cambodia with the least value in the value chain. And so, as the point that was made earlier, adding to value can be a major gain in a rural area. And so the saving in energy is translated into being able to market more rice. And typically, Cambodian rice mills are not big food processing facilities. They are 1 or 2 ton per hour operations. If you go inside a Cambodian rice mill, it looks like something out of Manchester in the 1890s. It's a lot of belts and wheels and very fascinating machinery, but not very energy efficient. So the technology change benefits the local rice miller, but opens up an economic chain that isn't available to the perhaps 1,000 farmers who supply that rice mill. So our approach has been to try and find a way in which the energy alternative can be linked into the local economic structure. We have used it for generating electricity in small villages. I should say with mixed results. It's not a straightforward thing to change village rice millers into utility managers. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made in terms of operating a small electricity utility. And while it's a concept that I think we all support in terms of cooperative ownership and so on, our experience has been you have to be prepared for a fairly lengthy period of management support and technical support so that the technology doesn't fail and then people are disappointed and leave the technology idle. But I would also say that the issue isn't really technology. We focus so much on trying to defend if we're solar people, or if we're water people, or if we're gasification people, and try to promote our particular technology. In our view, the optimal choice should be made on a technical basis, but the question isn't technology, it's income. If the family only has $5 a month to spend on energy, it doesn't matter whether they buy candles, buy grid electricity, or charcoal, they still only have $5. And so if you don't at the same time find ways to alter the income levels, then the solution won't be found simply in adopting the technology. And so our challenge has been to first introduce a technology and get some confidence in that, but also then to try and coordinate the different development actors who are trying to accomplish the same thing, that is, increase the welfare of rural people, but they're coming at it with their own particularly fairly narrow piece of the pie, and very rarely do they bring all the pieces together. I'll just briefly remind, if you go back one slide there. Basically, biomass gasification is burning agricultural wastes. And you put, in this particular design, biomass in the top. It dries and goes through a couple of stages, and it results in a gas that can be put into a gas engine or a diesel engine. And the ash falls at the bottom, and the so-called biochar can be used for spreading in the earth, both to store carbon as well as enhance the fertility of the land. This is a typical simple gasifier system. We have imported the technology from India, so I think this is a case of adopting and adapting technology that's already resident amongst the developing countries. And I think that's a process that we should look at as well, as opposed to thinking that it has to come from Germany or it has to come from Canada. There is a huge network and a pool of experience that could be accelerated, I think, and I'm sure any one of us going to one of our other countries would discover something that we would like to take back with us. And I think we took the gasification equipment from a system in India. It's not the most elegant engineering solution, but the designer of it, who's a very talented engineer, said it was designed to be run by semi-skilled labor. And as soon as I heard that, I said, good, that's what we need, because you don't want to put something that's very fancy, but has a lot of high technology out in the village, because where is the villager going to call the refrigeration man when it breaks down? I think we should try and keep the engineering solutions straightforward and not overwhelm the operation of them. So in that sense, it can be quite a sophisticated engineering method, but the equipment can be linked and designed in ways that people are familiar and can manage. For those that are interested, this is the process that goes through from gasification to cooling the gas and then putting it through a power plant. And then you can generate either heat or mechanical or electrical power. And you can operate units everywhere from 4 or 5 kilowatts up to about 1.5 megawatts. So it's quite a range of sizes. This is a small village unit. They grow their own rapid-growing tropical legume trees like Lucina or Gliricidia. They also, the battery charger in the village is sometimes your best customer, because he's serving the people that are still out of reach of the village grid. And he's also a major paying customer. So one of the problems in rural electrification is that you have almost no demand during the daytime. But from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the evening, you have peak demand. But it's very difficult for the economics of a system to run only for a few hours a day. And so our finding in Cambodia has been that we really need to match the village residential demand with more productive daytime demand. And that means we shouldn't just invest in the technology, we have to also look at whether we can help them build a rice mill or an ice factory or a brick factory or whatever activity makes sense. And so that's been one of the findings we found, that simply to turn the lights on at night is certainly good for the children to read their school books, but it doesn't pay for the system. And so you have to find a way to also move the economy forward at the same time. I'll just quickly go back one now. This is what a larger gasifier looks like in a rice mill. This is a 200 kilowatt unit, and that unit will save this rice miller about $6,000 or $8,000 in fuel per month. And that sounds like a lot of money, and you might say, well, I thought we were talking about poor people. But in terms of a facility in which you have to buy fuel, and it adds up if you're processing 4,000 or 5,000 tons of rice in a year, the fuel costs are very high. In fact, fuel is the #1 cost of the rice mill, except for the rice, about 75%. If you can save 75% of 75%, that's a big impact on your business. So the rice mill has actually quite a bit of financial turnover. It doesn't mean it's so profitable, but it takes a lot of money to buy the paddy, process the paddy, and the throughput. But again, as the drawing showed, it's a fairly straightforward system with each of its parts filtering the gas and sending the gas to an engine. So basically, we're taking a waste product and converting it into financial gain for saving. You can refer to these numbers in your book. They're indicative of the impact of the gasification on the enterprise. In order to successfully launch this transition or transfer of technology, we were a small local Cambodian NGO, and we thought we had a very good idea in terms of mating local resources and need. But after even 2 years of discussions and workshops and Cambodians going to India to look at the facilities, they would come back from India and they would say, good idea. They'd say, oh, this is really good. Why don't you go first? And so the problem is always to try and get the process started and the confidence, because in Cambodia, people don't analyze business on rate of return and surveys and market studies. They watch for the one who does well, and then they copy him. And so what we needed was to break through and find 1 or 2 that would go forward, and they are then the best salesmen for the technology. This took a couple of years, but we also found that another obstacle is financing. The traditional financial sources and institutions, as you all know, are heavily dependent on collateral-based lending. And understandably, that's difficult for them to go into rural areas where even a rice miller who has a building and machinery doesn't have any records. It doesn't have any of the normal accounting and documentation that a bank would like to see. And because of the turmoil of the country, his #1 goal is to avoid paying taxes. Because a problem that you may not deal with in your countries, fortunately, but the aftermath of 30 years of upheaval is not simply the pain and suffering that people went through during the conflict. It's the loss of trust. And you have a consequence that individuals have low levels of trust with each other and maybe zero trust with government. Because in their lifetime, they've seen many governments come and go, but they haven't seen any that really benefited them. So this is a more difficult situation to try and get people to come together and work together. And so it's not a simple thing, because memories are long, and I know those of you who have had conflict in your countries understand that it's not a straightforward process to simply get a group of people together and form a cooperative. But we found a combination that works well for us. We have an international partner, a company named E&Co, and they are a clean energy nonprofit organization from the U.S., and you will hear more from their representative this afternoon. They are willing, unlike most of the financial people that yesterday we were hearing, to take an equity position in a startup in a developing country that doesn't have a rule of law and has no record keeping. So this is sounds quite adventurous on the part of the financial institution, but I think both microcredit experience and others that have worked directly with people in rural areas have found that the reason banks don't lend money to poor people isn't because they're not honest. It's because it costs $200 to lend $50, and so they aren't set up in a way to put the money into the hands of the clients. But our experience has been that with a slightly different set of indicators and the confidence of the people, in the people, you can do due diligence using slightly different criteria. And we have $1.5 million of loans to the buyers of this equipment, and the package that we felt that was, please change, that worked well was to offer a financing package, a guarantee, an after-sales service, and a interest rate that was attractive, so that it made it easy as possible for them to adopt the technology. The after-sales service is as important to them as the interest rate, because they're a bit concerned about what would happen with this technology if it breaks, or I don't know how to fix it. And assurance that there will be some support there, I think, is a key thing. So we have gone through a process of starting with the design identification, an agreement, and through the financing and loan disbursement down to a after-sales service approach. And this has worked quite well. And the owners, of course, are thinking, if I borrow money from them as well as buy the equipment, then they'll be really concerned about the loan, so they'll come back to make sure that the equipment is maintained. And I think that's very intuitive on their part, and it has been satisfactory. We've done 40 projects so far, and the savings has been 2 to 3 million liters of diesel is saved annually simply on the installation of a fairly small number of installations. And there is a CO2 saving by gasification and then burning it in the way we are burning. The biochar can be used as a contribution to soil fertility, and the income effects are, as I said, quite dramatic on the enterprises. The application at village level is still, I think, needs to be worked out, because there are issues concerning management and delivery. And in Cambodia's case, you have an evolving electricity administration that is not necessarily geared to run, to encourage local standalone enterprises. In India, I think you have so large an area of opportunity that you're probably more free to set up electricity distribution without too many regulations impeding you. I should say, though, that we are worried, as I mentioned yesterday, about the copycat phenomenon, because people can see immediately that this doesn't look too complicated. I could build one like that. However, there is a lot of engineering, and there are some standards required, and I think we should find a way somehow to not discourage competition, but especially when it involves what are actually toxic chemicals, that there are some safety standards, both for the workers who work around the gasifiers as well as any other users of the gas. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.